Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rebooked, the show where we talk about the men and the women who be slapping the meat in the middle of the squared circle and the stories they tell in the process, brother. I'm, of course, GB. You got Matt, you have Jake, and we have a fun show in store for you all today, as we always do. And don't forget that if you like this episode and you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment, or you're on Spotify, you can give us your thoughts on today's show as well. But Jake, how has March Madness been? We need an update.
March Madness has been fun, man.
Is your bracket busted?
Yeah.
So so here's the thing. After round one, after the round of 64 teams, my bracket on ESPN was in the 99.9th percentile.
Oh,
like I did really good.
So
but then in the second round, I took a few chances
Disaster
and it did not go so well. However, a friend of mine, who I'm in a bracket pool with him, his bracket is currently ranked in the world on ESPN 252.
Whoa, that's crazy.
He has 15 of the 16 Sweet 16 teams.
Yo, that's
how big is that pool? If you're 250 in the world, like how many people are in part? Like thousands upon
24.4 million brackets have been made.
Oh, and he's 252.
And he is currently ranked 252.
Wow.
Bro, that's crazy.
That's nuts.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty damn awesome.
Scott True, friend of the show, listener.
Yeah. Friend of the pod.
Yeah.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. All right. Love it. And Matt, you've had quite the week in the last few days. You're on the Video Gamers podcast. You had a wrestling match too. How was your wrestling? Did you win the audio win-in?
I did win.
Nice.
Lesson learned. Turns out after you drive close to 6 hours and then immediately have to stand up for an hour doing a meet and greet, and then you wrestle first thing on the show 10 minutes after that. It doesn't leave you a lot of time to warm up your very, very stiff body. So, it was not a crazy match at all, but I am like banged the hell up because like I'm thinking about it, and shout out, the promoter was awesome because I had to kind of skate early. So he put us on early. So like putting us on first really helped me out for a personal situation I was in. So it was great.
Yeah.
But I'm like, maybe I should have asked to be on like second. So I can,
Yeah.
I was literally at the meet and greet table, like doing a little bit, a couple of these, just trying to man my back. Just like, I'm okay, but like, it's just jacked up. And of course,
you got seat warmers in the car. You flip those bad boys on like an hour beforehand. You get all loosey goosey. You feel good.
I did, but man, 6 hours is 6 hours.
6 hours is a bit of time.
And then to turn around as soon as the match was done, hop in the car and drive 6 hours back so I could take care of my sick cat. Because my wife was out of town. So it was and of course, like the dumbass that I am, though. Regardless of how crappy like my body was feeling, I get in there and I'm wrestling and I go, hey, whatever, give me this bump. Whoa! And I literally like wasn't even a huge crowd. I was tagging with Simon and I tell a guy to like belly to back slam me or something. And I literally pop and I go, why?
Yeah.
I did it to myself.
Oh.
And I just laid back down and it was.
What did we establish was the worst one to take, the worst move to take, or like you were like saying for your back or something like that? I don't know. We were talking about that last time. If it was like an elbow drop, was it?
Well, he was saying elbow drops.
You hit the elbow drops.
You have to commit.
Yeah.
Any
other leg drops are not fun.
So any other moves that suck that you could tell the listeners and viewers that suck that wrestlers take all the time? Because I thought the elbow drop thing was very interesting.
It all just depends. Anything can be. Leg drops are terrible. And I don't know why some people do them so much, but like suplexes can be the shoulder tackle. Sometimes, man, just taking a flat. I'd rather take that. Or no, excuse me. What the age old thing is like. Sometimes arm drags can suck. It's just all on how you. If you land a little off, it's weird. Like the flatter, straighter it can be. Like power bombs are great.
Yeah.
Like especially if the guy sits down with it because everybody's landing at one time. It's a ton of weight distribution. anything where you're like just thrown down at an awkward angle that you don't get to control.
Yeah, like whenever I look at the Penta driver, I'm like, oh god, that just looks, because he is like cradled in, and then it slams, and it's like your shoulder and like the back of your neck just hit
a little
the
bit.
ground.
Luckily,
like,
it's a pretty short fall on that.
Yeah.
So you just basically kind of like, you're not even like jumping, you're just kind of like tuck.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So yeah, no, that's some cool stuff. Honestly, so that's why they teach you in wrestling school. Like the first thing I remember, old Tough Enough, like how to land on your flat back,
tuck
right?
your chin, and put your arms out, attack the mat.
Yeah,
so it distributes weight more. So you do everything at the same time.
This is how you take a charge in basketball. They teach you the exact same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Don't put anything behind you, because that's how you break your wrist.
Yeah.
Right? If you fall back and try to catch yourself with your hands. I learned that in gymnastics, to be fair.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, distribute the weight, separate it.
Yeah, no, pretty cool. Also,
it's when you go to
right.
those awkward, that's where you mess yourself up.
I could just see me fucking my back up with that big time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. By the way, you were also on the Video Gamers podcast. That's right.
That's right.
Got to see you on here for a little while, chatting up with the guys there. That was pretty cool. You guys did it was draft.
Wrestling themed.
Yeah.
We drafted Survivor Series teams of video game characters.
Who was your team?
So we made rules. We made rules, and like you had to go either babyface or heel. Okay. So good guys couldn't team with bad guys.
Oh, okay.
And it was 4 wrestlers and a manager.
Okay.
From video game lore and history.
From days past.
Yeah. And so that was pretty much it. We were gonna eliminate like murderous powers, because like that would just make it. But I was like, you know what? Screw it. We'll just try to keep murder off the table. But if you have a really magical, strong person who has
something AEW should take note of.
Yeah, maybe.
But no, so like I knew I was gonna like lose the ultimate like vote, because they were gonna pick more powerful characters.
Yeah.
Because I didn't tell them I was picking from a TV wrestling point of view, like storytelling.
Sure.
Rather than just like the most powerful characters I could think of.
So like you worked yourself into a Rebooked shoot with your building your
I did, but I was proud of it. I had Master Chief as my captain.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
I had the Prince from Katamari as my powerhouse.
I love
because
that.
he could just roll up the entire world.
I agree.
I had, who did I have? Oh, I had Raiden from Metal Gear Solid as my like high flyer and athletic side.
Yep.
I had Ellie from The Last of Us as my sympathetic baby face to take the heat and get the hot tag.
You need it.
So even though she's not traditionally powerful, but like everybody in the crowd's getting behind her.
Just go after your ankles. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just
that's
tiny,
right.
You know.
And then I realized I don't think this works as a good guy, even though he's a main character. My manager was Trevor Phillips from Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, that's
totally not a good guy.
No.
I realized that after the fact. But my backup was Dog Meat from Fallout. So that
well,
beautiful.
Yeah, Dog Meat would have been great. Okay, all right, well done. Go ahead in the comments and put who would be your video game Survivor Series team.
Yes.
And you don't need to follow the rules that Matt laid out. It was just, he worked himself into something, into a little knot.
A man must have a code.
It's true. A man must have a code. Last week we asked you guys to let us know in the comments who is your favorite wrestler of all time, and Jim McCormick answered the call. The 538th of his name, 5,308th of his name, says that his favorite wrestler of all time, Bret Hart, and obviously a fantastic one. That was a good choice.
Yep.
I saw. I shared Kenny Omega. It was one of my personal favorites. We had a couple good ones. What about for you guys? I don't know if we ever established that favorite wrestler of all time for you guys.
I mean, for me, it's hard to take. I think I'm a Shawn Michaels guy.
Yeah, but that's fine. You could say Shawn Michaels is your favorite. I mean, that is it. Yeah.
But I always 50-50 though. With Shawn, just from pure ability and everything like that. But I always 50-50 with Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Because he was the most inspiring to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing like as bad of an influence as it was, like seeing his he was an awkward kid from Long Island who made videos in his backyard of wanting to be a wrestler, and he wasn't a bodybuilder and he wasn't like a D1 athlete. It made me as a kid, an awkward theater kid in high school, go, maybe I can do this. So like that will never ever leave me as far as like, so he was my biggest inspiration, but Sean was my favorite like wrestler in the ring.
Yeah. What about for you, Jake?
Ooh, the cream, GB rises to the
top.
top.
Oh yeah.
I've always loved Macho. I love Macho.
He's had some incredible matches, man. Like that dude's whole freaking catalog.
And just like I could sit and watch his promos for hours.
Yeah.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Forever
they're
entertaining.
just so good. Yeah. They're fantastic. You never know what the hell it's going to be.
The star of Spider-Man, honestly.
Bonesaw is ready.
That's pretty good. Jake's got a solid. Like everybody does a Macho Man, but Jake, that's a solid one.
That's a solid match. Solid match. We added this new segment, and gosh darn it, we love it. It's called Narrative Notes, and we got it ready to go. Let's do this. I still don't have a graphic made for it. Ding dong, keep forgetting, but it's whatever. I only have so much time in the week, people. But yeah, so Narrative Notes, we like to just cover all the stories in AEW throughout the week and all of professional wrestling, but there's just not a lot of time. So what we decided to do is kind of truncate everything into one nice little section here. So here we go. First up, in the International Championship side of things, we have Ricochet, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Kenny Omega set for a triple threat at Dynasty. And fellas, this happened because both Mike Bailey and Ricochet pinned Davis on the corner in the slowest setup of a pin of all time. But it begs the question, does AEW need to invest in better referees? Because at what point are we accepting these transgressions from these referees? Come on, ref, you couldn't see two people were covering the guy. Jake, do you think it's time?
I think I early on was an advocate for the most part, AEW refs suck. I mean, but I mean, like from, I'm sure they're wonderful people and what they do, but like the fact that there is no continuity of rules within AEW frustrates the shit out of me. I like and they just always write it off on commentary as like, well, it's at the ref's discretion, so I guess it's okay.
But that's kind of your
I've had to give that line a few times.
I can't, but it's all the time. It is all the time.
You think so? I don't know if it's all the time. I mean, when's
a lot.
When's the last time something like
tag matches are
tag matches? I'll give you the tag match one. That shit is
so there were two good examples this week in AEW, I think, of like good and bad, where like the rules kind of change. And it's wrestling, it's a creative endeavor, it's an art form at the end of the day. It's not a shoot sport.
Right.
So there is some leeway you can play with, but like I've always said, like, you got to establish baselines to then play with them. You can't just throw them all around every week. The double pin was a little weird. The fact that unless you could make a situation where he truly like couldn't see the other guy diving on it or something like that.
Yeah.
So that one was a weird. The flip side of this isn't a rule break, but like just kind of a random use of rule was the time limit draw between was it Garcia and
Cole?
Yeah.
Which is like, what randomly there's a time limit on this one. Like sometimes they use them, sometimes they don't. Like that's a thing. But I'm like, but for that, I like that because that's an interesting finish of like that. Oh, he had him. It wasn't a rule break, but it was like randomly implemented. And but it worked for that story. Here, it felt a little forced.
Yeah, I agree on the look. Am I disappointed in what we're gonna get? No, because this match is gonna just bang in ways that I don't think people can conceivably understand yet. You know, like we're gonna see Speedball Mike Bailey, Kenny Omega, and Ricochet in the same ring. Oh my God, you know what I mean? Like at one time, each three of these dudes were the absolute best high flying, high octane performers in each of their respective promotions. You know what I mean? Like Ricochet was that guy in WWE, Speedball was that guy in TNA, and then you had Kenny Omega, obviously that guy in New Japan, and then AEW. So this thing's gonna be freaking sick. But you know, you took some liberties. You took some liberties. And for that, as Simon would say, you get it down. You know, you get it down. You took some liberties, a little too many liberties. But to your point, though, and that takes us to the Daniel Garcia, Adam Cole time limit draw match, I really like that. I really like the match. The match was freaking awesome.
But again, that's an established rule. That's an established rule instead of just like each, you know, every ref having their own Mad Libs of rules before they go into each match.
It's just sparingly implemented. The idea of like what matches have time limits and when, and sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 30. Sometimes they don't use it.
Title matches had it. It always felt like title matches had the time limit draw.
Usually, and they do often for this kind of reason. They want to have a contender get so close, but time, or a heel bail right at the end of the time. It's
they just did that with, what was the MJF one that they did not too long ago? It was within the past 6 months where MGF came to a draw.
Damn it.
And it was actually done. Oh, against it was Will Ospreay.
I think it was Will Ospreay for the title. It was yes. It was the first international match, I want to say it was, that they had before I think he pinned him in the last second and won.
Yeah,
that's what it was. He got all the way to the end, and he literally, I think that's, I could be wrong. Someone can correct in the comments, but the point is though, and they will. But point is though, you are correct. It felt a little too like, this is happening. I would have much rather they just not had said anything and then just rang the bell when he went to go hit the boom knee. And then the crowd could be like,
the tough part about that,
whoa.
If you don't, that's the thing though, is you're going to get people to turn on you if you don't establish it. Because then they're like, wait, I just watched a match last week go 30 minutes.
And I think that's where like the entrances would have played a really big role, but they didn't do entrances for this. Because then Justin Roberts can say, with a 20-minute time limit, you know, like very emphasized.
Wherever it is, you just have to say it at least once.
They started in the ring, ready to go when the show started. Again, great match. Go back and watch it. Truly, like, and also shout out to my boy Adam Cole. Dead ass inspiration for me. I got my fellow 40-year-old inspiration to, you know, my left over here and my right, because Jake's a genius. You know, and I gotta get in shape. I gotta look like you guys now. That's it. I just gotta do it. It's inspirational. What is it, Jake? Go ahead.
Who, guys? Not me, guys. I'm A shape, but I'm not in shape. What are you talking?
I was talking.
He was not going to let that compliment fly.
I think you are a beautiful man, Jake. Okay,
that is not up for debate. What is
Well played. Oh my goodness. Okay, well look. Let us continue forward here because we got more.
Speaking
stuff.
of Adam Cole.
That's right. Wait, where? What we have here?
The next one, the time limit draw.
Oh, that's right. We did talk about this though. We were just talking about this though, and I do think that it's going to be interesting. We're going to get that third encounter, so we'll see what happens there. We'll of course cover that when it comes, but I think this is going to lead to an Adam Cole TNT title reign. I hope. I think it'll be really cool, or at the very least, they keep going back and forth. Maybe best of 7 where it gets to an obscene amount. Who knows? Then of course you have Mercedes Moné, Julia Hart, Don Callis family, Hook, Bandito, Death Riders, and Harley Cameron all scoring big wins this week. The biggest thing for me out of this is Julia Hart. She came back. She's been off TV for a little while, and she came back and really feels like she's going to start, you know, no real direction yet, but it's very clear that like the crowd's still very much into the character and the gimmick. And Hounds of Hell just kind of been circular because I think Buddy is still injured, correct? From
As far as I know.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate. So maybe they're just kind of like swirling around. But man, it was really cool to see Julia Hart back in action again. And did you guys get a chance to see Mercedes Moné, Billy Starks by any chance?
I caught the highlights of that one.
Did you see Mercedes almost dying like 2 times? There was this one, one move where she like picks her up and I was like, if that was my neck, I'd be dead. Holy crap, man. Good match though. Shit. Yeah, overall.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, like I think there was just like a lot of like really that kind of takes to the point that I wanted to emphasize here. Like Collision's been amazing. They had so many sick lucha matches on that episode.
The luchadors went off.
Dude, it was amazing, man. They had Dralistico and Beast Muertos versus Hologram and Commander. Bro, Commander, they had the coolest camera shot I've ever seen in like done like on the fly. It was like the camera followed Commander's feet on the top of the ropes as he was running across, and then he jumps off and then fucking emotes in the air and then like hits, and it's like, and he makes it look like it's nothing, man. It's like, how are these luchadors? But you see, this is where I think it's really funny, because you're talking about the rules, and they don't give a fuck about the rules out there, man.
Oh, no. I don't even know if AEW does it. Actually, we're going to do it. Like, I don't know if we're doing it next week in the Chavo Guerrero match, but we are having a Lucha Rules match coming up in the next few weeks, which I don't know if you guys know. Like, talk about no rules. Lucha Rules for tag matches is basically no tag needed. If the one guy gets out, anybody else can just jump in and start wrestling. You just got to fight under the bottom rope anywhere, and the next guy can just jump in.
Huh. Okay.
I love that.
Out, in, out.
I love that. I'm all about that. I honestly
think every AEW tag match.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think like it would be cool to just see them moving forward, just do tornado tag for lucha matches and just be like, just, whatever, go nuts, because they're so entertaining, they're so fun, they're so good. Like, it reminds me also of like old school WCW, like the cruiserweight division, seeing like Juventud Guerrero go up against Psychosis, like those matches. I love those, and this very much gives that same exact vibe and energy. And they even have like a little story going on with Harley Graham and the Beast Muertos in the weirdest love story ever. Not a triangle, because Lord knows what the hell's going on there. But there is one last thing here that I did want to talk about real fast. And that is that MJF says that he might need a group of his own. Fellas, are we getting an MJF joining the Hurt Syndicate? And also a bigger question here is, I like the idea. It seems like everyone's coming to this conclusion that the only way to beat Mox is to have a group, like to have the backing of a group. Swerve, Prince Nana, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but that had happened. So do you agree with this logic here? But also, what do you think of MJF joining the Hurt Syndicate?
I don't think that he will. MJF is not a play well with others type of person. MJF loves to control and manipulate people. So if he's going to do it, it's going to be more akin to the patriarchy than it is to the Hurt Syndicate. So I don't think that that's something that will last very long. If anything, it will be, I'm going to use them as a means to an end, and as soon as I get what I want, I'm dropping them. I could see something like that too, but I don't think that would go well with the Hurt Syndicate.
The patriarchy, actually. Now that you mention it, Nick Wayne, right? Kind of struggling a little bit. Christian Cage throwing him to the side. Here comes MJF. Ooh, that could be interesting. Matt, what do you make of MJF's whole need to find a team thing?
I mean, it does feel like a lot of the time. I mean, you mentioned people feel like they need to have a group to take down the Death Riders, but it also feels like a little bit of a not trend, but like a default for AEW in general over the last year or two, longer maybe. It's just like, when in doubt, form a faction.
Yep.
Kind of thing. MJF's already done it with the Pinnacle. I mean, we've seen Jericho do it about 3 or 4 times, I feel like.
At least.
Well, and then, then now the Hurt Syndicate, there's Death Riders, there's the Elite, there's all kinds of stuff. Don Callis family. Which again, as we've established, a lot of AEW's lore and history is inspired by Japan, who's huge on factions. But those factions live like forever. Bullet Club is still a thing. House of Torture is a long old thing. Chaos. These groups have been around like decades or a decade plus and stuff like that. They just switch members in and out. These are just like
Don
living
Callis
and
family
dying.
has been around for a minute, though.
That is true. That's
probably
one of the more well established.
You have a few that have been around for a minute. It's not like it's. I know what you're saying, though. I don't disagree. They're very faction pilled in
sometimes
in AEW.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Jake, what were you saying?
Well, just one thing that frustrates me with the need to. I feel like I need to make a group to beat Mox. You just need Mox to agree to cut the bullshit. Like, why has nobody done that? Why is nobody like, what if I got them? Why isn't somebody said to them, you can't beat me without them? They have to show up every time and have it a no outside interference. Like, just, I mean,
no, that's true. Nobody's just been like
because
you're
the
a wuss. You can't. What should be his?
Honestly,
what
should
should be like?
Come out and say Swerve should come out and say, "Hey, yo, Mox, you a punk ass bitch."
You cannot beat me one on one. You have to have people help you.
Challenge his pride as this fighter.
Yeah, this isn't the trios title. This is the AEW World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah,
so beat me for it.
Exactly. Don't come out here looking like the Hamburglar. Trying to cause problems with society and disrupt with tire
irons. $30 white T-shirt.
Like, come on, let's grow up here. No, I am very much interested in how MJF fits into this whole thing. Obviously, the main event picture in AEW is really healthy between Hangman and Jay White and MJF and heck, even like Cope and what's going to happen with him. That's another one that's going to be really weird. We'll see where that goes. Might as well move forward and talk about all the other stuff that had happened because, oh boy, we got some more
for the
movement.
Main event meat.
That's right, main event meat. First up on the slab, we got Toni Storm's next chapter. Might be her toughest and, dare I say, in her words, meatiest yet, because her on commentary was the funniest thing. Like, just the fact that she kept talking about like Megan Bayne and Chris Statlander's thighs, and it was making Tony Schiavone very uncomfortable, but it was great because he was like asking questions, and then I think someone was like, Tony, don't do that. Like, told him don't do that on commentary, and it was just so freaking funny. But let's talk about this. Megan Bayne coming in hot. She's the big pickup for AEW. She's been very much put into this like monster role. I don't really foresee this being a big title change thing here, but I do think this is going to be a really fun story for Toni Storm to do some shenanigans, right? Like, how would you guys, Jake, how would you like to see this move forward with Megan Bayne?
I'd like to see, I think Toni realizes like what kind of a fight she's in for, but what I do like is her taking the fight to Megan and challenging her. You don't see that often. I don't think you don't see it often enough in wrestling where the champion challenges someone else to a title match. And I like that.
What's funny is Moxley did the same exact thing on the Fatal 4-Way. So it's a kind of a thing that we're seeing more of. And I just like that we're not just AEW, because I think WWE's done it once or twice as well. I think Cody was the one who issued the challenge initially to Kevin Owens for that first title shot. So it's a really cool way to kind of be like, hey, I respect you. You know?
Sure. 100%.
Now, the question is, how does this kind of play out then, right? Because surely this has got to be, Matt, Megan Bayne just needs to destroy Toni Storm every single week because she's got, or like, how would you approach this, I guess?
I mean, yeah, that's the curious thing is this is a big litmus test for Megan Bayne, who gained a little bit of a reputation on like the independent scene, but has not had major television experience.
Yeah.
So you're throwing her right into the deep end. So this is her chance. My thing is, look, I think every week, pretty much, they're going to continue doing what she's done. She's going to demolish people. She's
Former
going to
champions, it seems like.
Sure, put Toni Storm on her ass, maybe. Really build up the possibility. I don't think anyone truly believes, especially because she is so new on the scene, and Toni just won the title back. Nobody in their deepest mind is thinking Toni's losing that title.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to build Megan Bayne up as much as you can. But this brings up this is a classic, one of my favorite lines I've ever been told. Shout out to Joey Mercury back in the day. Is this going to be Megan Bayne's, like, even if not winning, is this going to be her star-making performance that goes, oh yeah, she belongs? Or as Joey Mercury said of Vladimir Kozlov many years ago, it's a classic, well, we got a pay-per-view out of him. Because that's what he was big monster. He beat a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Somehow they booked him and The Undertaker in a title match. Of course, he didn't win, but then he kind of just fell off a cliff and did kind of comedy stuff after that. And had a nice little run, but like was never in the main event really again.
Yeah.
So is this that? Is this, are we making a new star, or is this, we see a big bad and we're just going to kind of try to get a pay-per-view out of it?
Well,
and then
I mean, look, Toni makes stars. You know, is kind of how I feel about it. She absolutely can. I mean, everything that she's been involved with, I think the other person has come out looking way better than when they went in.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a big opportunity to do that here. What I would like to see is, you know, Toni realizing that maybe she bit off more than she could chew. Get into the match. She's overpowered. I'd like to see her kind of like, oh shit, what was I thinking? I would love to see them not touch until Dynasty, where then Toni can realize, oh my God, her strength
didn't they already
is
touch
insane.
this week?
Well, yeah,
they did a little bit. They did a little bit, but and of course we saw, you know, Megan take her out on the stage.
I think we might get like a promo and then maybe like a big fight before the match.
No tag matches or anything.
I don't want
actual.
I hope they don't. Yeah. Go ahead.
I want Toni to experience her strength for like legitimately for the first time and be like, oh shit, what was I thinking? And have to have kind of a crafty win to get out of it, realizing, oh man, maybe
like
my
she
mouth
did.
almost wrote a check that I couldn't cash.
Just like she did when she won the belt.
Right.
Which I like that. I like that idea of Toni like being really wily in her wins. You know, it reminds me a lot of Bryanson, you know, and when Bryanson was winning by a new move every single week. Right. And it was like, it's like cattle mutilation. Oh, cool. And then he'll do like, you know, like an Alabama slam. Oh, he won with that. And it was just like, I like that. Don't get me wrong. It's always great when you get 3 crossroads back to back and the crowd's losing their mind. And it's like, you know, the greatest moment of all time. But sometimes a small package for the win is also a very wrestling thing. You know, it's at its core. It's a very wrestling thing. You want to talk about the opposite of that? That takes us to the street fight that got a lot of people talking. Oh my!
Talk about
word.
meat.
Talk
you
about
got some tenderized meat.
Now I'm just gonna come out of the gate and just say that for me personally, this was disgusting, and it was disgusting. And
for those of you listening, even you should be aware. Yeah. But Mox getting suplexed onto Spike, and it's sticking into his back.
Yeah. It was disgusting. That being said, holy shit, that was some gnarly stuff. Like that was, credit to those guys. I mean, like, this is the thing that they wanted to do, because Copeland did the same thing in the cage match where he broke his foot. You know what I mean? He was doing a lot of like crazy stuff in that match. It's clearly these guys just want to really beat the shit out of one another and mutilate their bodies. Matt,
is that good?
Is that good? I mean, it's over.
Good.
I mean,
okay,
we're not getting it again. It's done.
Like,
so.
they want to is a horrible reason.
Oh, I mean, that's my opinion. I don't know. I mean, look, from a story perspective, I mean, you kind of shut the book on Cope and Mox, so that's done,
Sure.
and you can move on comfortably from that. That's what
I mean,
this does.
look, I want to lay naked on the Krispy Kreme conveyor belt and go under that giant stream of glaze. I want to do that. I should not do that.
But that would be a good video, man.
But I want to just mouth open, just going through that waterfall of glaze.
Yeah.
So here's my thing about it, because like, I don't want to get bogged down in did I like the spot? No, I thought it was too much. I thought it was unnecessary. I thought it was dangerous. But that's fine. There are people who like ultra violent wrestling. There is it's a niche audience, but a lot of those people do watch AEW, I'm sure. So that aside, so that is not for me. But of course, I'm not here to talk about what is good for your taste and what's not. There's two things for me. One, from a story perspective, okay? If we're going to get ultra violent, these guys have been through a lot. Was it earned to take it to that level, especially if we're just going to be done now? The idea of like, were they that bloodthirsty? Were they truly at that bloodthirsty level of this feud? I don't know if I have the answer. I feel like they were pretty good, but probably just, I don't think it was
I
quite
feel like it
earned.
was like maybe another week, maybe like if something had happened that would have triggered it, then I'd be like, okay. But really,
or if this were like their third match in a trilogy or something, I feel like we weren't quite there to get this level of violence.
It feels to me like it was this has been not what we had hoped it was, so let's crank it up to 11 and do something crazy to then generate some interest, is how it felt a little bit to me.
Sure.
I don't want to say desperate. It wasn't desperate, but it was still like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just felt
it didn't scream desperate for me, but
I don't think it did. I'm saying it didn't.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sorry, go for it. Matt, what were you gonna say?
So no, my only thing about this is it's something I've learned in fight choreography and stunt coordination for film and television and theater. And I think it can apply to wrestling. Is of course that weird gray area, because it's like it's live in front of people and like usually kind of not really rehearsed too much outside of certain spots. But when you come to violent stunts and violent acts, we don't even shake our head when somebody's head gets cut off in a movie, because we have the unconscious knowledge of special effects and
it's
cameras,
not real,
edited, right. This we know is not real too, but it's more uncut in front of us, so it's like that. But so even in theater, though, the old rule was, if whatever this action is that you're doing, even if it is safe, or even if you can do it and be okay, the audience should not be thinking, is the actor okay? They should be thinking, that malicious Jonathan Moxley, that evil bastard, got what he deserved. Not going, oh my God, is that human being all right?
Yeah.
If you're crossing that line, you're taking people out of it. Again, wrestling is in this weird sports arena kind of thing. So if people are going crazy in the stands,
yeah.
I mean, that's a win in some way, but that's just my 2 cents on it. If I'm worried about the human being and not the malicious character or the sympathetic character that they're playing, I think that's a bit of an issue. But
good
wrestling
news is human being was good.
I want
human being was okay.
Thank God.
I want whatever horrible thing happens to someone like that, I want to be able to say good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's
what I want to be able to say.
I think that will not be possible though in this medium.
Well, no, it is. It's 100% possible.
Really? Because
a great
it's like
example
more
of
physical. It's more real life than a movie is. You know?
Yes, but it's how you set it up. I think a great example of something that's dangerous, but I think is more set up. And again, sorry, it's wrestling, can still go wrong. But a great example of something like this, I can't think of the exact match, but we've seen it a dozen times. This took me a little out of it, but like the age-old, the guy's climbing the ladder, somebody comes in, stops it. Wait, what? There's tables on the outside. You're going down. No. Yeah, the big bad guy gets pushed off through the tables. That's a wild spot, but it's set up in a little bit more of a controlled way, and we can all watch the big and not feel like, unless he lands on his head, and not feel like, oh my God, he's truly
something that can go wrong, but
hurt.
way more managed and way more tame in that regard. I don't disagree. I will tell you what, though, my wife loved the shit out of this, and I was a little worried, and I don't know if I should be concerned, because that moment when Wheeler grabbed Spike and the back skin was stretching, and then like she looked, she was like, "Oh, that's awesome," and I was like, "Is it? I don't think so."
I haven't seen the Terrifier movies, but I don't want them in my wrestling room.
Yeah,
that's my only thing.
It was crazy, but let us discuss though what goes from here, though, because now that a few things came out of this match. The first thing was Dax the Axe has had enough. He's done. He's over it. He's walking away he walked away from Cash. He walked away from Cope. He's done with it. What does it mean? I don't know. We can discuss that. But then, of course, Swerve and Mox set for Dynasty, but Prince Nana was on the phone. Could have been talking to Swerve. Could have been talking to someone else. We've been seeing this whole you need a team to take on the Death Riders. The Death Riders are back in full strength. So I guess the question, we'll start first with Dax, is this finally going to be the end of FTR? Which, Matt, you've had a lot of run-ins with these guys in the past.
Oh my God, I go way back with these guys, and they have been consistent. There's never been a sniff of a breakup. There's never been a whiff of it since I was in NXT with them.
I'd like to break up with that noise happening again.
Fair. But yeah, I mean, even since way back early 20-teens, right, when they were first getting established. So we're talking 10 years plus together. Yeah, winning every title in every major promotion around the world. Something tells me no. And I have no logic. I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a red herring. I feel like it's going to be teased. And I think Cash may join him on whatever crusade. It could be a heel turn for the team. Back to the heel side. I don't know. If it is, I hope it's pretty big and pretty spectacular if it is a split, because they deserve it for all the incredible tag team work that they've done.
Yeah. Jake, you think we could be seeing the FTR split here, or you agree with Matt? Might just be a ruse.
Kind of agree with Matt. Because I don't know what they do from there if they split. I was still expecting there to be some kind of trios run with rated FTR.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I mean, that's still a
I don't know. I don't know where it goes from here.
That's still a possibility, right? And the reason why I say that is because, one of the biggest takeaways from Collision recently, and I think the best thing that has happened to AEW was removing Rampage. It has allowed them to focus the show a bit more. And they've had great trios matches, and they've been very clear that the trios titles are back in play. I don't know what the hell happened, and I don't really think it was a smart idea to keep the trios titles as far away from everything as possible. But it is nice to see that the trios titles are back in. There was an awesome match between the Death Riders, Top Flight, and AR Fox. That was the crowd was white hot for AR Fox. It was really cool. It was a great match. But also Claudio is looking like a monster, which has been amazing. And it is really reestablished Death Riders, but obviously there needs to be more. You have the Ops circling around them, maybe rated FTR. Undisputed Kingdom also is always a possibility there too. There it feels like there's finally like they're letting Collision be the trio show, and I think that's the best thing that they could possibly do. for that program. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think that Matt, that we do the trios things for Cope and FTR like in Death Rider? Seems like there's still a little bit more meat on the bone there.
No, but I mean, then why make this move?
Well, I guess it's part of like,
and just be like, never mind. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, like.
Maybe they fail
they're
again.
They're making this move for a reason.
Yeah.
Clearly, like whether they do, he goes, "Hey, yeah, my bad, I let you down. Let's get rated FTR back together." They fail to win the titles, and Dax maybe really finally takes the next.
That's what I want.
And then we're going to see where Cash's loyalty lies, and that could be a really great story. I think if they tell it, I think the best thing would ultimately to be FTR together turning on Cope, but you could drag that out with their friendship and everything. Which way is Cash going to go? That could be some great, tease back and forth there.
Yeah.
So I think there's a good story to tell, but it would be weird if they just course, like, it just went back and just like, never mind, we're going to go for the trios titles and just stayed that course.
Yeah, no, I definitely think like to your point, that is definitely going to happen. As far as like the breakup goes, if you were to do it, that's the best way to do it. But I really, really like the idea of like FTR turning on Cope, and then like somewhere along the way, Cope just like appeals to Christian Cage's like better demons or something like that to get him to
I thought about that
run
too.
it back again, and then Christian just turns his back again on him. Like, I would just love that shit, man.
I thought about that too. Or there is a strange little, I like that better. I think that could be a lot of fun, but there's a strange little universe where if it is just Dax and he gets some, I don't know how, but just get some bad guy friends where we get like Dax and Christian versus Cope and Cash.
That'd be fun.
Two of the greatest tag teams, but split.
Yeah.
Like,
holy
crossing
crap,
street.
Cage.
Scissoring each other, if you will.
Scissoring,
right?
That's a
good, because they were originally
terminology.
Teams like this, but now they're like this.
Yes, yes.
You get that?
When you do
see
it
what I'm
multiple
doing? Do you
times like that,
understand?
doesn't...
Can I get some scissors in the comments below?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh man, no, honestly, there are some fun things that they could do here. But then on the flip side to that, Jake, Swerve, Mox, it's moving forward here. Does this feel like fine? No, okay, never mind. Why not?
I wish it did.
It doesn't.
I don't know.
It feels too obvious, but like if it does, I'm also like not that mad about it. But...
I want this. I want every single title match. Yeah, to be the one where it changes, but I don't believe it will be until All In. I think we're in a holding pattern for All In. I'm still convinced of that.
Damn. So, but
I hope not. But
it's like
I don't know what else.
I would really like it to be Swerve Will at All In. I think that would have been really cool. Me too.
Yeah.
I think that's what people. I think that's like, because I'm really contemplating going to All In, and I will be honest, if it's Swerve Will at All In, I might go to that. Like that to me feels like something I want to watch live and in person. But if it's like Mox versus Will, and I like Jon Moxley, I am a big Jon Moxley fan. I'm less compelled, to do that. But I also, that's unfair to Moxley, I guess. I don't know.
It's not him as a performer. It's just the way this story has been told. It's run its course.
Yeah, it definitely has. So Jake, you're off the. And so you just think it's going to be Will at All In, and then call it a day.
I just want it to be over. That's it. I mean,
yeah.
It just, we're past the freshness date, and we just. I need something.
A little expired.
I need some.
A little expired. Little turn, starting to turn a little bit.
Yeah. Starting to see some mold. You
can eat the greatest meal ever, but if you keep eating it every day, it gets old.
Yeah,
and we've been eating it for so long now.
Yeah, it was like when I was losing weight to do the Titan Game show. I was eating the hell was the name of that grill? Waba Grill here in LA. I was eating Waba Grill because it's just rice, veggie, and meat, and it was like the cleanest meal-ish, clean.
Sure.
And then after like the 15th time, I was like, you know what, guys, I think I'm done. I don't think I want this teriyaki chicken anymore. This white rice.
Yeah.
I prefer it red. Put a little sazon in it,
Well,
maybe some beans.
we just had to eat a Mox kebab, so it's like,
oh man, all right. Well, there you have it. Of course, we'll be keeping eyes on all the big stories that happen in AEW, and it will be tonight. We'll find out. We'll get some more movement. We'll see what's going on with Toni Storm and Megan Bayne. We'll see what's going down between heck with MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. Maybe we get a little bit more with Swerve as well as Moxley. Surely we are, because Dynasty is only a few weeks away. So we have to be getting some more stuff with those guys eventually. But yeah, we'll be keeping eyes on that. Now, of course, that takes us to everyone's favorite section of the week. It is our Rebooked 24/7 Champion of the Week. Week. This is where we award the person, place, or thing or whatever that made us happy this week, because Lord knows we need joy. We need joy out there, people, because it's tough out in them streets. But I wanted to go first, actually, and share this fun one, because I saw this pop up recently, and I thought this was absolutely hilarious. So there was this little kid that talked to Chris Jericho on Collision and flat out just gave him the bird. And it was the funniest thing. This kid, just unbelievable, and just
I hope that was real. I hope it wasn't a plant.
it was completely real.
Yeah, and then they just
I hope so. I question everything in wrestling. So
yeah, fair enough.
I don't
blame
you.
It's great.
Yeah, this kid though, right
attitude.
Here, an absolute freaking. Well, let's see if we could get the zoom in on her real fast, because it was just a legendary moment. Bam! Look at that kid! What an icon! What a legend! Flipping the bird to Chris Jericho. That's my 24/7 champion of the week. That kid. Who wants to go next?
I'm gonna go last, if that's okay.
Yeah, I'll go next.
Okay.
So we talked earlier about the NCAA tournament. March Madness is going on. And there is one commercial that they keep playing over and over and over and over and over again. It's the Geico commercial where it's like, oh, can Geico really save you 10% or more in car insurance? Did the little pig cry wee all the way home? And then it's the pig sticking its head out the window of a car going,
yeah. I love that ad.
Yeah, my 24/7 champion of the week is the bacon industry. That fucking pig, I want him off my TV. He's annoying as fuck. I'm so tired of it. The bacon industry, do the right thing. Do the right thing.
What do you mean, do the right thing?
Fry him up.
Fry that little shit's.
You mean this
just
guy
fry
right
him.
Here? Hold on, let me see if I can find him.
Who, by the way, in this commercial, Maxwell. His name is Maxwell. All the more reason that he needs to be dispatched immediately. Yeah, that guy. I can't stand it. They played the shit out of that commercial.
That's amazing. That's amazing. All right, Matt, what's yours?
Yeah, so I'm gonna last because I'm gonna bring
Matt's
it into
wins. I know
the heart. Yeah, it's gonna win because it's the heartfelt one of the week. Because it's a shout out to, I think we've done this one before, but new events and everything like that. Our man Chris Bay this past weekend, they had this really incredible benefit show for him in Vegas. AEW, WWE sent Karrion Kross. TNA had guys, AAA people showed out, donated their time and their appearance. Everybody paid their own way, kind of thing. Like everything was for Chris. And brother, dude, the guy had a 10 to 20% chance of walking ever again.
Crazy, man.
And we're here 5 months later, and he walked all the way out to the ring. Didn't have a walker, didn't have a cane. I know he's using one here and there, but all the way out, up the steps, into the ring.
Yeah.
This guy is on his, and listen to his interview with Chris Van Vliet this week. He's just got such a strong mental outlook on it all.
Yeah.
And he's still got a journey to go on, but holy crap, as far as he's come in just a few months, from Lord knows if he would ever even walk again, is beyond inspiring. And hashtag G set for life. Greatest story ever told. The kid is a freaking marvel. So
It really is.
it's all out for Bay.
Is I mean, like the fact that he was able to do that and is able to like make his way out on his own is, you know, and again, you know, like even with the holding hand of someone, like
still
he's going down a ramp. He's going down a ramp.
It doesn't matter.
That's not. I know people who are fully able-bodied who can't get in a wrestling
5 months ago, they gave him a 10 to 20% chance of this ever happening.
Beautiful thing, man.
In his life, and again, less than 6 months later, is doing it.
He's walking more steady than I do.
Like that's what I'm saying. I know able-bodied people who don't walk that easily. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's inspiring.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Chris Bay, and a legend. If there's any information, Matt, that we need to put in the description, let us know.
His biggest thing is just, you know, his pro wrestling tees, or Chris Bay pro wrestling tees, all that stuff goes to him. Play his music on Spotify. Every play helps out. And then if you just look up Chris Bay GoFundMe as well, I can try to get the link into our video here, but that is still active for because I mean it's gonna be a long road. Think about it. A lot of people have had these neck injuries, and he talks about it in the interview. Nobody was paralyzed. And came back from it. You know, Edge and Kurt and everything. Austin, they were all banged up. They were all laid up. Big E, but they weren't actually significantly paralyzed for a period of time like that. So, like, he's incredible, and he's making incredible progress. And so hopefully it just keeps going up from here.
Yeah. We're obviously all of our thoughts are with Chris Bay. He is unequivocally our lifetime Rebooked 24/7 champion of forever, because the man is an absolute inspiration. And I think that is an excellent place to end it there. So that is going to do it for us here today. But if you are watching this on YouTube, just to let you know, TNA Weekly will be dropping tomorrow. So make sure you keep your sub boxes open up and available and all that stuff, because we're going to be talking about what's been going on over in the world of TNA. We finally got some answers from the dastardly Nick and Ryan Nemeth as to why they attacked Matt Hardy, and we're going to dive into why and what happens next. Also on Friday, we have our WWE show. We're going to be talking about what John Cena and Cody Rhodes just did in their promo and previewing what is to come on SmackDown. It's going to be a good week. Some good wrestling up ahead, and we of course thank you so much for tuning in as always, and we'll see you on YouTube on Thursday and on podcast on YouTube on Friday. Peace.